So Caitlin Clark, we've called her Taylor Swift in tennis shoes. The nation fell in love with her. She said no thank you to the NBA, offering her a chance to participate in their three-point shooting contest. Now think how amazing that is. If I'd have said to you a couple years ago, yeah, the NBA, to save their All-Star weekend, because it's kind of silly and unserious now, we're getting tired of it, they're going to ask a WNBA player to join the three-point shooting contest to save it. NBA, to their credits, figured it out. We got a problem. Too bad the women's Olympic team had blinders on. But the WNBA proves a point that I've been hammering for years. College basketball is great. It is an ally to professional men's and women's basketball. It introduces us to your stars. I didn't know who Caitlin Clark was 4 years ago, or Angel Reese. And then the last couple of years, I was like, man, I'm not sure they like each other. It's a tasty rivalry. And I took that and I followed it into their professional league. Their college conflict became the best story in their professional league they both entered at the same time. And the reason, of course, is because women now stay in college for 4 years. That's what they do in college football. That's why college football is surging and the NFL's surging. And the WNBA is surging, and women's basketball ratings are surging, and the NBA is not. It's international. We don't know the players. We have no visceral connection. If you go look at the WNBA draft this year, I knew the first 7 players. Go look at the NBA draft. It was a who's who of who's that outside of Zach Edey. Michael Jordan's, as a freshman, his game-winning basket for UNC became a movie. Air. It was the story of the movie. How Nike figured out, who's this young kid from Carolina? It was the shot as a freshman instead of James Worthy. We all used to love March Madness, the ratings show. We're still loving it, and we're loving it more now because the NIL is allowing some college men's players to stay in school longer. It's good for the sport, but what it's really good for is the NBA. We are a distracted country. We will move off you quickly, and we will move into you quickly if you give us good storylines. Never forget, Hollywood figured this out about a decade ago. They started getting rid of artsy independent films, and they make superhero movies. Why? Because we knew the characters from comic books. It was all source material.
Okay. First off, we're having many different conversations here right now, okay? We're talking Hollywood movies, superhero movies, something that people are rejecting right now because of oversaturation. That's number one. Number two, we're talking about women staying in college longer, and so it's a better product. And then Caitlin Clark forgoing her decision to be in the three-point, forgoing the three-point contest. What do you make of her decision? Something that he didn't even address. So there's a lot going on here. Why does he even ask this question? What do you make of her decision? And then not even really address the question. Doesn't really make sense. I've addressed this before when it happened last year when it was more for the women's league. And my answer has not changed. She's under tremendous pressure to forgo these types of things because these women, the WNBA, I highlighted this so much on this channel. They still hate her. They resent her. She has so much pressure for her to not do anything extra. Anything extra, it's seen as you're taking things away from us. You got to pay your dues. You can't be on the Olympic team. You can't be on the three-point contest. They don't want her to keep winning and doing all of these things. And unfortunately, she has taken some of that. She's accepted some of that. And that's why I kept saying, who cares? These women are never going to like you. They're never going to accept you. They will always resent you. Who cares? Be Kobe Bryant. Don't be Steph Curry. Don't be everyone's friend. Be Kobe Bryant. Be a monster. Be a beast. Be MJ. Don't be LeBron James. Don't try to be everyone's friend. Be the guys who say with pride, I don't got no friends in the league. I mean, people didn't start liking Kobe Bryant until he was at the end of his career. Go watch the documentary when he went and joined the Olympic team with them. Everyone was all kind of afraid of him. They were kind of oh, Kobe kind of just does his own thing. There was definitely this, this divide. It wasn't until later on when he kind of mellowed out a little bit. But if I was in a room with Caitlin Clark, I'd be shaking her and being like, please, who cares what these women think? Who cares? Just do everything. Do all the opportunities. Ball out. They're going to hate you no matter what you do. They're going to keep trying to get you to bend the knee. And you say, nah. I'm Caitlin Clark. I do what I want to do. This is my league. I built it. This league was nothing before me. Nothing. Colin saying, oh, he knows who these ladies are now and he knows the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. That is a 100% fact. 100% fact. We can keep trying to be like, oh, well, Angel Reese and, Asia Wilson and all that. Nah. Man, no. I had to hear her name like 7 different times just to make sure that I was saying it correctly. It's Caitlin Clark, okay? That's what it is. Make no mistake about it. So, yeah, people will be like, oh, well, it was her decision not to do it. No, I promise you. It's so much pressure, so much mental mind games. We've seen these women have these conversations. We've seen the media have these conversations. We've seen it again and again and again. We've seen it. If Caitlin Clark went out and did this, it would be just, a whole bunch of nonsense, and we know it. If Angel Reese got invited, it would be, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so amazing. And Caitlin Clark knows it. She knows it. She knows it. I mean, they literally tried to take records away from Caitlin Clark. Whereas some of these other girls, they tried to force records into it. So yeah, we've taken some time off the Caitlin Clark, train here. But make no mistake about it. Not much has changed since last season. I'm excited to dive back into all of this. But make no mistake about it. None. All the problems that Caitlin Clark faced last season are all still there. They're still there in the offseason, and they're still into this season, coming into this next season. Make no mistake about it. None. They just want to keep shrinking her. I can't wait. I know people in the comment section are going to be like, no, this was her decision. Yes, it technically was hers. Just like it was for the All-Star game. But again, it's just tremendous amount of pressure, bullying, public manipulation. If you think the WNBA would accept open arms with her doing this 3-point contest, they would not. We know that. We know that because we saw what her entire rookie season looked like. We saw that when Caitlin Clark broke a record or did something spectacular, if you go on any of these women's sports blogs, she was barely there. I went through all the footage of it. I went to the websites and showed you all in real time. And then I showed you that when Asia Wilson does something, when Angel Reese does something, whatever. You can see that, they highlight this. They write a story about it with Caitlin Clark. Nothing. I compared you what happened on when Caitlin Clark or when Angel Reese was doing her double record or whatever. How it was highlighted every 5 seconds on ESPN, and Caitlin Clark does any of the most spectacular things that she did, and it was nothing. Angel Reese, it was top billing. The moment you go on ESPN, boom, it was there. Caitlin Clark, you had to scroll. Oh, I guess Caitlin Clark did something historic. All that stuff is still there. We didn't just suddenly evolve just because she's now, in a suite with Taylor Swift, at a Kansas City Chiefs game. If anything, that'll make people hate her even more. It'll get some of the Swifties, and it'll get a lot of the other haters as well. So I'm not going to let that go under discussed, quite frankly. I'm just not. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caitlin Clark foregoing the NBA All-Star 3-point contest? And what do you think about Marvel superhero movies in Hollywood? And, college athletes staying in college longer, according to Colin. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.